Many of you have heard over and over and over again that you need to strive for English fluency. But reaching fluency takes a lot of investment of time and money and effort. But is it financially worth the investment?
The answer is yes and no.
Let's talk about it.
So today, guys, we're going to talk about learning English and gaining fluency in English, mostly from a financial decision. There are other reasons to learn English. We know that. We have enjoyed learning Chinese and other languages before, but really, we're wanting to know, does the cost outweigh the benefits of learning English?
Particularly financially. So whether or not the cost is financially worth investing into your English fluency comes down to, what are you going to do with it? Are you doing this just so you could buy coffees and talk to Americans? If it's worth it to you, then great. But how far are you willing to go? How much are you willing to put into it? Another way to look at it is by industry. What job are you looking at? What career are you planning to go into? Because, how much you make also determines how wise of an investment that is right now.
Yeah, because some industries, you don't need to have a super high level of English. It's not needed. So for you to put all of that investment into gaining fluency, but you're going to do a job that you don't need English to be competitive. It's not going to give you a pay raise. It's not going to give you a promotion. It doesn't make financial sense to make that decision.
So let's talk about some industries where English fluency is super beneficial for you to be able to do the job really well, for you to be able to be comfortable in the industry, to be understood well in the industry, and where that fluency is probably key in order to be successful.
So a major one is aviation, where this comes down to being a pilot or being an air traffic controller or being a stewardess. All of these jobs most often require at least some degree of fluency to perform well.
Yes, many of the aviation rules and the way the airports will speak to you, it's going to be in English. You really should have English, especially if you are a pilot. You really need to be able to understand and to be able to speak. For air traffic control, again, because it's the main language being used in aviation, it's very important, well, I would say crucial, to be able to communicate clearly exactly what you mean, to be able to talk about directions. So those prepositions are extremely important with your English fluency as an air traffic controller. In terms of stewardess, obviously you can get by with doing an airline from your own country, but again, you will be far more successful. The English speakers that ride that airline will be far more comfortable if you are able to communicate in English. Being the trade language in aviation, it just makes sense to have decent fluency in English.
Another one is software development. Even though when you write code and you write software, you are using a different language, whether it's C++, C++, Java, or whatever, you are using another language, but often the communication that has to happen to figure out what's the problem or what can we do, what should we do in this program, all of that is going to be complex communication that happens that requires fluency.
Again, the prepositions, the way that we do prepositions of time and place are a little bit different in digital platforms or online. So nailing those, which requires a decent level of fluency, being able to do that well to communicate with clients, to communicate with project managers, you need to have a decent level of English fluency to work as a programmer if you're going to do business in America.
Speaking of business, another one is business management. So this is where you have people, that you're dealing with people and you're dealing with people all day. You're going to need a high level of fluency to be able to manage all of those relationships, all of those problems that happen on a seemingly daily basis, so that you guys can push through and keep going towards the goal of business.
Yes, and this has everything to do with your content creation, your marketing, your connection with clients, your connection with the middleman who works with the clients. If you are functioning as a middleman between engineers and factories or factories and retailers, it's very important that you have great English and you also have great skills in whatever language that you're working with on the other side. Being truly bilingual and being able to translate in such a way that there is a difference between the literal and figurative meaning, that you understand that and you're able to accurately capture that meaning in both languages is very, very important for business.
And along with that is the idea of customer service. In business, we may have a great product and we think that this product will be very useful for our clients. In reality, if we don't have good customer service, then those clients may buy the product, but then they may never come back.
Yes.
So you need that good customer service that says, hey, I know what you're feeling. I hear you. I value your opinion genuinely. All of that requires a great deal of cultural knowledge, background in that language, and overall fluency.
Yes, how to be polite, but not too polite. Another industry where it's very important to have English fluency is in copywriting, editing, proofreading, anything like this. These are very popular jobs, especially with the rise of AI. You need a human to go over it and make sure it sounds human, not just like overly friendly AI. So you need to be able to have enough fluency to have an eye for when something sounds a little out of place, it's not appropriate in the cultural setting, maybe it's too friendly or pushing too much. You need to have just this good idea of what people are looking for when they are looking for an item, or what they want when they approach the content that you are editing. This is a very rare skill. There are tons of copywriters and copy editors out there on the internet in places like Upwork and Fiverr and these online job sites, but there are very, very, very few people that can do it really, really well. Yeah. So if you can get a finger on English fluency to be able to do that, you can work from anywhere in the world. As long as you have an internet connection and a laptop, you will be able to support yourself really well.
Because there is so much content, fluency really separates people that are just using AI generated stuff and just like going over it once from an ESL perspective to say, no, I'm going to write my own stuff, and I write from fluency. For native speakers, especially for English teachers, it really shows.
It really shows.
So the next industry is medicine.
You have to be accurate here. Have to.
This is actually an incredibly large industry right now. We have some friends that are doctors. There are many, many ESL speakers that are actually trying to go into the medical field because in America, at least, the medical training is second to none. As a result, though, fluency is one of the large requirements in order for you to become a doctor or a nurse or something like that.
You can serve in a Spanish-speaking hospital, for example, or you can serve in certain areas where your language is spoken primarily. However, having an understanding of what people are saying in English, what they mean in English, and being able to translate that for your patients is very, very important. As a bilingual doctor or a pharmacist or anybody in the medical field, having a great understanding of both languages and being able to switch between the two is invaluable in the medical field.
Which leads us into the last industry that we're going to talk about today, which is interpreting and translation.
Yes. This is massive. There's massive demand for this. Globalization around the world, business being able to go anywhere. People are using AI a lot, but it doesn't quite capture nuanced meanings or implications very well. So somebody who is able to find those, understand those in English, and translate them into another language or vice versa, it's a highly sought after skill set.
Yeah, we had a lot of Americans that were around us when we lived in China that they would go there. They would be a part of a big brand of clothing, for example, but they didn't know any Chinese. And so they would always have to work with an interpreter, with a translator, just to do their job. And if you can be that person that can be both skilled in an area, but also bilingual or a translator for other people around you, it's incredibly valuable.
Yes, absolutely. So these are just a few industries where English fluency is a solid investment. You will quickly make back whatever you have invested into English. These are things that are very highly appreciated. These are not things that are undervalued in English. In American culture, people who are bilingual in these industries are very highly sought after. They are very well respected. This is something that is hugely needed and appreciated.
Yeah, because it's not just rote tasks. It's not just working at a factory and putting a piece of metal into a machine. It's creating. Yes. It's either creating software or it's creating copy for a website. It's either creating something yourself, like graphic design, or it's dealing with people directly.
Yes.
And both of these things require a great deal of fluency.
So if you are aiming to go into one of these fields or these careers in America, your question should not be, is it worth the financial investment to become fluent, but whether it is worth the financial investment to go for mastery. As always, if you want to have more practice in getting to English fluency, click on the links below in the description. We have an email list, we have a membership program for people striving for fluency, and we have a blog where you can reach some more extra information as well.
All right, guys, that's it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will catch you on the next one.
Bye.